exercise. So we hope to conclude today.
Yeah, but we know that the screening is the first stage. The next one is confirmation, and sometimes someone who has been screened might not be confirmed. So are we expecting one or two people not to be confirmed?
I don't think so. You are right. Screening, we have just done screening. The confirmation exercise will now follow. But from what I have seen during the screening, it is most likely that all those that we have screened will also likely skate through, hopefully.
Okay, now that the Senate postponed its annual recess, so would we expect to see the Senate embarking on its recess from today?
I hope so. Because this is the only thing holding us back. As you know, the House of Reps are already on recess. And we ought to have gone on recess since last week. But for this exercise, which we decided to do in the national interest. And I'm happy that we have sacrificed our time and energy in ensuring that we do this one speedily. So I don't think there's anything holding us back. We are surely going to embark on our recess. Immediately we conclude the exercise today.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, the three nominees have been scheduled for consideration today is Sabo Nanono from Kano State, Lai Mohammed from Kwara State, and Saleh Maman from Taraba State. We'll now take you straight to the Red Chamber to follow the screening process.
Sit down, please. Thank you. Petitions, Minority Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise once more and I rise again and to present a petition before this Senate from the people of the FCT. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my constituents have asked that after announcements today, we're going to screen the last batch of the ministerial nominees, and they were thinking that there would have been an announcement to say that maybe there's a ministerial nominee from the FCT, but since we do not have one, they have asked me to submit a petition before you, Mr. President, so that as the State House of Assembly of the people of the FCT, we can look into this petition. Mr. President, they have also asked me to let the Senate know that you might not be aware that there was a Court of Appeal judgment on the 15th day of January 2018, wherein specifically various reliefs were sought, and specifically those reliefs were granted, that the declaration that somebody from FCT is entitled to a ministerial appointment, and a declaration that the continual refusal or default by the previous and current President and administration to appoint an FCT person as a Minister of the Federation is a violation of the constitutional right of the people of the FCT. And then there was an order compelling the first respondent, which is the federal government, to ensure that a minister is appointed from FCT. Mr. President, the President might not be aware of this judgment, and the people of the FCT have asked that I let the Senate know so that they can specifically mention to Mr. President, and then this petition can be submitted to you for your kind consideration and the Senate. Mr. President, I wish, therefore, to submit this petition and to also lay the judgment of the Court of Appeal. And they assume that since the federal government did not appeal this judgment, it is deemed that the federal government had agreed that they will appoint somebody from the FCT. Thank you, Mr. President.
You may lay it on the table. Thank you very much. The petition is referred to the Senate Committee on Public Petitions when it is reconstituted. Point of order, Senator Abubakar Kyari.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise on order 43 With your kind permission, Mr. President, if I may read.
Yeah, you can read.
Says, by the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there may be no questions before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is sought. I rise on this, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on the incident that happened in Ganze local government of Borno State on Saturday afternoon. May I proceed with my personal explanation, sir?
Yeah, you can proceed, please. But let me say that Senator Abubakar Kyari has informed me of what he wants to present as personal explanation, so you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, this year marks the 10th year of the Boko Haram crisis in the northeastern part of Nigeria. And it has also recorded several thousands of deaths and millions displaced, sparking a dire humanitarian crisis. Recently, about 2 weeks ago, on the 18th of July to be precise, workers of an NGO, Action Against Hunger, about 7 of them were attacked and 6 were kidnapped. And during that attack, the driver was killed. As I'm talking to you now, they are still under their custody. 5 male and 1 female. And I'm sure you must have seen the video recently that has gone viral. Northern Borno, my constituency, is a large expanse of land, and the terrain is very harsh. It's made up largely of arid desert conditions. It's a very difficult terrain for our gallant armed forces to man. However, with all the efforts that they have done, there are still a few remnants of the insurgents that are on the prowl and hit soft targets. Approximately about 2 weeks ago again, a village in Ganze local government called Badu was attacked. And the people, the locals of that village, gallantly repelled the attack and killed several of the insurgents and confiscated their weapons. 2 weeks later, precisely on Saturday, the insurgents came back for a reprisal attack. And like I said, the target, soft target. There was a funeral procession in that village, and the insurgents attacked and killed over 65 persons at one time, and about over 15 people injured. As I'm talking to you, that is the official figure that we have. Maybe there are still some people, because or maybe as they're fleeing away with injuries, they might have probably died somewhere in the bush. But I'm sure the figure might be a little bit more than that. Like I said, the terrain is very expanse, and the military are doing the best that they could, because they have also lost their troops in recent attacks. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I would have brought this as a full motion, but because hopefully we are going on recess today, and there will be another legislative day till after the recess, but I want to plead with you to please consider, 1, to condemn in strong terms the dastardly act perpetrated by this incident and all other actions by the insurgents, and also observe a minute silence in honor of the deceased victims of the attacks, that is both military and civilian victims, and also urge the federal government to approve the deployment of additional military personnel to Borno North Senatorial District owing to its size and location as a border region to curb the infiltration of foreign insurgents. And also urge the federal government through NEMA to immediately send relief materials to the affected people to cushion their suffering. In addition, Your Excellency, Mr. President, you are leading a delegation based on a previous motion to Borno to commiserate with the Borno State government and the people on over several acts of insurgents. I would want to also please include this particular action in your mandate to go and deliver to the people and the government of Borno State. And lastly, we want the military to provide security coverage for any aid worker that is meaningful and are doing job to reduce the suffering of the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, distinguished. Because you have come under Order 43, Order 43 does not allow for debate. So we, of course, will take the 1 minute silence, and all the prayers and relief you are seeking are noted. Let me also take the opportunity to condole with the families of the deceased on behalf of the Senate. And when we take the tour to Borno State, I will ensure that we visit that part of the state to see the situation created by this devastation. Let's observe a 1 minute silence. May the souls of the deceased rest in perfect peace. Amen. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly revered and distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is a presentation and consideration of the report of a hard work committee to the Edo State House of Assembly crisis. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Abdullahi Aliyu Sabi, Chairman of the committee, to move a motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report.
Senator Abdullahi Aliyu Sabi.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Aliyu Abdullahi Sabi. I represent Niger North, Chairman of the Ad Hoc Committee to invite
Senate Leader. I so second. Thank you.
Senator Aliyu Sabi, please, you can present your report. The ayes have it. You may let your report, please, and then you present.